our clients keep recommending us to other people because we hire really awesome people. Now, not tooting my own horn, but it's because I did learn a lot when it comes to hiring people and finding out what qualities actually work. Hi there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal is that at this video is to walk you through what are the qualities of a good virtual assistant that you might want to hire for your business. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own executive assistant company here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday on how to work from home and every Thursday on how to have an online business. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. In the last 2 years that I've had to XU my company, I've been really lucky with the people that we've been able to hire. It's been really fun to see how much growth we've had, mostly because our clients keep recommending us to other people because we hire really awesome people. Now, not tooting my own horn, but it's because I did learn a lot when it comes to hiring people and finding out what qualities actually work, and basically finding qualities of people that I actually like working with. So that's kind of what this video is going to be all about, is for you to hopefully skip a lot of the lessons and mistakes that I've had to go through when it comes to having to learn, okay, how do I know if a virtual assistant is good or if they're not worth even looking at all. And if you're a virtual assistant yourself, this could be a really good guide for you on different things you can start thinking about of how you can present or show up when it comes to working with your clients. Now, these are going to be qualities that I look out for when it comes to hiring and even when I'm managing someone, to see if they can really work with us in the long run. Now, the first quality I look out for is they need to have a goal. It's really hard for me as a coach, as a career coach for people, to be able to know where to take people if they don't even know where their destination is. And it doesn't have to be this, written out 5-year, 10-year plan of the rest of their life. It just has to be what is the next step that they want to do? What is the next thing that they want to take? What is the next goal that they have in mind that's keeping them motivated into the next thing? The reason why this is so essential when it comes to hiring, at least for me, is then it's going to be easy for me to see if I can connect their goals with the company's goals, to see if it even makes sense to them to be working with us. A lot of the time, employers just make the mistake of just hiring someone even though they probably have a plan to go back to like law school or take a master's or even change up their whole career within 6 months. So as an employer myself, I want to check on that of like, does it make sense that you're going to be here for like a year or 2 years or 3 years, 5 years based on your goal? Because I don't want it to be just a one-sided thing. I want to support our assistants in whatever goals that they might have, and to be able to do that, I'll need to know if they have a goal or not. Most of the time, whenever I do end up hiring someone without a goal, who's kind of surfing by, but I really like their personality, they usually fade out. They usually find themselves not working out, or I find them like, okay, yeah, you're not motivated enough to keep going because you don't have this goal. That's why it's super important for us. Again, it doesn't have to be this long-term goal or like 5-10-year plan. It just has to be what is the next step that you want to take in life. It could be that you are thinking of writing a book, or you're thinking of traveling to this place, or if one of your goals is to get your own apartment. That's fine, as long as you have something you're working towards and you actually see yourself going somewhere in a few years. Next quality they look for in an assistant is someone who's focused on self-development. Now, it doesn't have to be their whole focus. It could literally be that they just got initiated into the world of self-development, that they're reading currently a book about it. That counts. What I mean by self-development is they're interested in seeing if they can be more than where they are now. So reading books like How to Influence and Influence People, reading business books maybe like E-Myth. When people tell me that they like reading these books or they have friends who've recommended them these books, then I know that's a really good green flag. The reason for that is then I know their level of self-awareness. I know their level of like, hey, there's something about me that I want to change, that I'm doing something about. I'm educating myself in some way. It could be that they just watched a TED Talk. No matter how small that is, as long as they've taken the next step into learning more about themselves, learning more about what they can do, then I know that they're going to be a good hire. Speaking of self-aware, that's the next thing that I look out for, is someone who is self-aware about what their qualities are. Now, a very cliche interview question is, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And for me, I really look out for that, because if you're someone who knows that you suck at time prioritization, but you are working on it, self-development, then I know that you're going to be that type of person when you come into work. That if there's a problem, you're going to work on it. And you are self-aware enough to know what your limits and bounds are. A lot of the people that we don't hire kind of are not really that self-aware. They don't know where their value is. They don't even sometimes know what are the things that they like about life. So these are the people that, again, usually don't work out in the long run, because it's going to be harder for us to be able to train them, to be able to get them to where it is that they actually want to go if they don't have this, if they're not aware enough of themselves, of what's happening, how what they do and what they say and what they think actually affects people. So a virtual assistant who is self-aware, who again knows what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, is going to be a very powerful person to have by your side as you grow your business. Speaking of being self-aware enough to have boundaries, that's the next quality I do look out for, is someone who knows their boundaries, someone who sets the boundaries themselves of what is okay and what is not okay. A lot of the time, assistants do fall into the pitfall of like, hey, you can contact me 24/7, but that actually is a red flag for me, mostly because then I know that they don't regulate stress well. They don't know how to set boundaries enough to be able to take care of themselves. And if you're going to be a virtual assistant for a long period of time, you need to be able to know how to manage yourself. So when an assistant puts in boundaries, that's such a good sign, and it doesn't take away that how dedicated they are with your business. It doesn't take away with how motivated they are to keep doing good work. It shows that they're taking care of themselves, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So keep this in mind. If your assistant tells you like, hey, I only work from Tuesdays to Saturdays, whatever it is your arrangement is, and put from this time to this time, that is them putting in boundaries, because they have a life that they're building. They have goals that they're probably going after. So someone who sets boundaries, again, doesn't take away the level of dedication that they have in your business, or does it take away their motivation to keep doing good work. It is only that they know that they can't push, they can't show up for your business if they don't make time for themselves. Next is word that I've already mentioned a couple of times, is being motivated. And what I mean by being motivated is someone who knows that there's something bigger than themselves that they're working towards. That it's not just another task, it's not another project, it's a big goal, it's a vision that you guys are trying to make come true. So there is one quote that I loved reading when I was learning to be a manager, a leader, which is it's not your job as a manager to motivate, it's your job to inspire, to show people what the vision is, and to see who gets motivated by it or not. If they don't get motivated by it themselves, again, they'll start fading away. It won't make sense for them to stay in the company. That's why I always look for assistants who are motivated to show up. You know, they have habits that they have in place for days when they don't feel motivated, or they know how to refocus on days when it's hard to focus. So again, motivating your employees is not your job as a manager, as an employer. It's actually to see who is already motivated enough on their own, and then to inspire them into something that is amazing. Another quality that I look out for in a virtual assistant is someone who knows how and when to give feedback. What I mean by this is, hey, I really want someone who's honest. I really want someone who tells me as it is right away. In reality, as a business owner and as a manager, you want to have someone, and this is something that you can definitely train someone to do, is someone who can give feedback and knows when to give that feedback. A lot of the times we make the mistake of like asking for feedback right away before the person has even been able to process what the right feedback could be, and it either hurts the business, it hurts our ego, or it hurts the other person in the end. So you want to make sure that you find someone who is open to feedback and open to giving feedback, and then you train them in that quality of being able to know how and when to give feedback. Really good book that I recommend by this is 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. It's the book that I actually literally give it to all of our clients the moment that they have assistants, because it does help have the mindset of how to give and receive feedback. Next quality to look out for is someone who's constantly learning. Now, it's actually a value within 2XU of ours, where you need to be someone who's constantly growing if you're going to be in the company. The reason why this is such a focus, and again, I've probably said this a couple times in the video, is that I need someone who can push themselves without me micromanaging them or without me looking over their shoulder, especially since we're working from home. So someone who is constantly learning, constantly growing, is someone who will be reading articles about your niche even when you didn't ask them to. It's someone who's looking looking at like business books so they can understand more of how your business works. It's someone who watches videos about how they can upgrade their own skills, again, even without prompting. One of the interview questions I always ask is, when was the last time that you learned something new? And with this answer, I usually get a response of, are they someone who likes developing their skills, or are they someone who kind of learns something and kind of lets it fall on the wayside? Because of course you want someone who's growing with you, growing with your business, to be able to have that business to also keep growing. Next quality that I look out for when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant is someone who's a good communicator. I don't actually mean someone who's really good at English. That's a whole separate thing altogether. But someone who knows how to communicate. Someone who, again, knows how to set boundaries, knows to communicate their goals, knows how to tell you like, hey, this is not okay, or hey, what if we did this idea? So someone who's a good communicator, someone who can express their ideas, whether that's saying it out loud like with your mouth or actually writing them down. The reason why this is so essential is when you are working from home and your assistant's working from home, it's essential that you guys are able to communicate back and forth really well to have the relationship keep going. A lot of people underestimate the power of having good communication when it comes to working from home or working remotely. But honestly, I've seen so many relationships, work relationships, break down because of the lack of communication. So finding someone who is a good communicator, someone who can express their ideas in a good way, doesn't have to be perfect, is going to be invaluable in your business. Next quality that I look out for when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant is someone who's detail oriented. What I mean by this is there's someone who at least double checks or even triple checks, or what I call triple double check, their work before submitting it to you, before submitting it to a client, especially if they're going to be working with your client. The reason why I look out for this specifically is, as a virtual assistant, you're probably going to be talking to people that help bring in the money in the company or our actual clients. So I want to make sure that you show up in the best way possible. And one of the ways that I look out for this is, it could be that during the test I would add like, hey, make sure to put this in the title, or hey, can you make sure that when you submit the test it has this inside of the body of the text. So it's putting in small details that you're hoping that they catch, or they just, again, double triple check something before they actually submit something to you. Now, one of the biggest things that I look out for when hiring a virtual assistant that you probably should watch out for as well is someone who has empathy. Now, what I mean by empathy is not someone who just absorbs someone else's energies and doesn't really know what to do with it, but someone who knows how to get down whenever you are in that pit as an entrepreneur, when you feel like anxious or you feel lost, as a lot of entrepreneurs do, is you have someone who kind of goes down in that pit with you without having to want to throw a rope at you or scream like, yeah, you can do it, you can do this. Someone who goes down in that pit and says, hey, how can I help? Or how do you want to get out of this? It's having that empathy to show up not just for you, but also for your clients, for future employees that you might have, or even just for themselves, having empathy and being kind to themselves. A lot of the time, a lot of employers dismiss the value of having really good soft skills, but honestly, a lot of the assistants that we've had in a longer period are those who know how to show up in the way that they can be with you, they can sit in that dark pit with you. By the way, this dark pit metaphor is coming from the book Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, and I love it so much because it shows the difference of someone who's actually empathetic versus someone who's just like, hey, yeah, you can do this, woohoo. And there is a difference to having that kind of person within your business. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button right there and comment below what other qualities do you look out for when you are hiring a virtual assistant. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday. You guys can check out the 2 playlists right here and the newest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!